And almost there. Let's check this out. And we are live.
Thank you, Omar. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, good evening, peace to everyone. We have two of our stars joining us today, one who won and one who did not, but still remains a star for us. So let me do a quick introduction to everyone before we begin our conversation. So my name is Luna Banuri, and I am the Executive Director for Utah Muslim Civic League. Our first guest today is, as I roll ladies first, Fatima Dirie. Fatima recently ran for the election for the Utah House in District 33. Fatima is the policy advisor for refugees and new Americans in Mayor Mendenhall's inaugural administration at the Salt Lake City Mayor's office. Previously, she served for 4 years as the community refugee liaison for the prior administration. Then we have Mohamed Baayd. He's a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a veteran, small business owner, and an immigrant. Mohamed was elected as a member of Salt Lake City Board in District 5, where he will work alongside other school board members, the superintendent, families, our unions, other employees to implement policies that will benefit our students, teachers, administration, and families. Thank you so much to both of you for joining in. And if I can take a moment to recognize my wonderful fellows who've put this program together, we're going to start with Shema. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Shema, and I am the Civic Engagement Fellow with the Utah Muslim Civic League.
Hi, my name is Khadija, and I'm the Racial Justice Fellow at the Utah Muslim Civic League.
Thank you, Khadija.
Hi, my name is Sahar, and I'm the Community Engagement Fellow with UMCL.
Thank you, Sahar. Omar?
I'm on the board of the Civic League.
And your name is?
My name's Omar Rauf, and I think it's also visible, but yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think we're going to begin our Q&A. We have a lot of things that we want to ask both our guests today. I'm going to start, let the fellows lead the question answers. And I do want to acknowledge the fact that today Salt Lake City did issue a report around students and their attendance and the issues with COVID and everything going on, and the decline in attendance and the decline, rapid decline in student grades and everything. So I feel Mohammed has a lot of work going on. And I think COVID has, as we all know, affected our refugee populations, and new American population, everyone in disproportionate numbers. So Fatima being back in her position probably has her plate piled high to the ceiling. So we want to hear. Shema, please take it away with your questions, and I will interject as we go along.
Right, okay, so I'm going to start out with the first question. So Mohamed, you ran for Salt Lake City School District as a member for the District 5, and Fatima, you ran for Utah House in District 33. So our first question is, why those positions? Why did you choose to run for those positions? And this is a question for both of you.
Ladies first.
I soon knew you were going to say them, Mohamed. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge Shaham and the team, all the students, for the fellows that have put this incredible panel up, and the work that you guys are doing is incredible. So my hand goes out to you, and continue doing the good work that our community needs. As mentioned, for me, when I decided to run for this position, that first of all, you got to understand what is available. There are elections. Most times people think of just the presidential elections, every 4 years, but there are other elections that happens throughout the years. Some are every 2 years, some senators are every 6 years. So for me, when I was tapped into the shoulders to look into even becoming a candidate, and someone that is well known in the community, that has done advocacy work, that has, hosted rallies and protests on behalf of immigrants and refugees. I was already being looked at a different, from all different individuals that are either candidates themselves or they would be candidates in the near future. So for me, I started out first by participating on a campaign course called the Campaign Acceleration. It was an 8-week. I wasn't really sure if it was the right thing for me at the time, given that I'm working full time and I'm doing all these other tasks. But I also looked into why is this so important for young women like myself, women of color, to go out there and run, because ultimately at the end, you're leaving footprints for other young ladies to follow you and be a role model. And so for me, that was really, really important. It's like, I got to look at this beyond just, being a candidate. I got to look at this as opening pathways for new individuals to come in and say, I can also do this. Even, if she can do this, yes, so can I. Regardless of my identity, regardless of my faith, regardless of my background, I'm capable of getting involved and doing what I can to make a difference for my community. And so this is what ultimately why I decided and made the decision to be a candidate for this specific district, is because it was available and it was the time they needed a candidate to challenge the current incumbent.
All right, so I guess it is my turn, isn't it? Luna and the team, and Fatima, I just want to thank everyone for being here. And Fatima, you've done amazing. Sincerely, you really, really have done amazing. But I have great admiration for your tenacity and your courage to run. Now, Fatima, enough of you now. Why did I run for this office and at this time? A lot of people, they look at me and they're like, are you crazy? Why are you running at this? Are you sure you want to be in this position? And I always say there is no better time than now. The reason I ran, because not just because of my background, the first in my family's generation to ever go and earn a bachelor's degree, let alone go and earn a master's degree in my whole village. And looking at those things, that just shows you the importance of education in my life. I want also to let the community know, especially the minority communities, know that they have the tenacity, the strength, the courage to do whatever they'd like to. There might be challenges ahead, but nevertheless, they need to understand that there is a community out there that support them. So when I ran as a minority, as an immigrant named Mohammed in current America, I ran because I did not just want to be the voice of marginalized communities or immigrant communities or refugee communities, but instead I want to be actually a shoulder that they can lean on at times when it's hard. I want them to understand that there is someone there who relate in so many ways as an immigrant, as a Muslim, as a Black man, and the list goes on and on. So, and there is nothing better than during that time. And also because this is a country that is built upon the foundation of immigrants. And I actually wanted to let every immigrant know that the sky is the limit. Although there are some people out there who will stand against everything you believe in, but I do not want that to be a barrier that will prevent them from being successful. So at this time, as I'm here live right now, I want to let every parent and every student who are watching this right now to have a trust in themselves, to understand that they are every bit as smart as anyone else, and let them understand that they are the future of this country. They are the ones who will carry on once our journey is over. And I am here to support them and listen to them. And if there is anything that I can do to help, I will be here. And this is one of the reasons, is just the passion for education and passion for my community, for my immigrant brothers and sisters, and also for finding equity when it comes to education.
Great, thank you so much.
All right, so I have the next question. So what was the support like for you, if any, from the Muslim community, and what can we as a community do better? And this question is for the both of you.
Ladies first again.
You can't keep using that excuse, Brother Mohammed. First and foremost, I mean, I want to just kind of acknowledge the work that I do with the Muslim community in the Valley. I often collaborate with several individuals and leaders, our imams, our women, to sort of empower us to do more within our own community. And so for me, the excitement was amazing. Everyone was on board. They were like, oh my gosh, finally, you've agreed. We've been waiting for you to do this. It was almost like everybody was just saying, when is Fatima going to come out there and tell us that she needs our support? Because she's an individual that is constantly fighting for us, putting us at the table and making sure that we have a voice and we have access to resources where we need it, whether it's government, whether it's the community. So for me, it was very important that I continue to provide and promote the attendance of Muslims at all revenue, whether it's events, whether it's collaborating with our fire departments, the police department. So sort of like evaluating the work that I already do, and then to get that support and that attraction. First of all, it starts with your own immediate circle. That's one thing you have to understand. When you decide to run, you need to convince those that matter to you, your parents, your siblings, your mentors. All of them need to know the level of work it takes to be a candidate and the level of work and stress that comes, as being a candidate. A lot of people are relying on you and you become the center of attention. And so they need to protect you. Their privacy needs to be protected. And so you as a candidate need to be honest and really speak to the reason why you embraced and you put yourself out there. And then, I mean, honestly speaking, I think it's also important that you build alliances with new people that you're, convincing to believe in your leadership, believe in the work that you're doing, believe you, and ask them to support you. And so a lot of that will come to people knowing the integrity that you have left behind and what you have done, like in your prior work and your relationship. So make sure you don't burn bridges. Make sure you maintain every relationship that you have established, regardless, if you think that individual will never stand up for you, will never, speak good about you. Don't worry about those things, because it comes down to saying, look, you can rely on me. I can be there for you. Give people an opportunity. So for me, it was very important that I brought on Muslim individuals. So I had a Salar, who's a Muslim young man that's on this panel as well, to be my intern, my communication intern, and for him to have worked on several other campaigns, and then to also say, look, I have an opportunity to put a Muslim candidate out there and really speak to the platforms and the issues that matter, not only to our communities, but also to the broader community of Utah. How do we make Utah a welcoming place? How do we discuss issues that matter not only to us, but also to individuals across the nation and say, how do we collaborate better, and how do we embrace all of these efforts as a community? Because you can't do it alone. It takes a village, as we all know. And so I just appreciated every individual, whether it's they contributed, $50, $5. It all made an impact in our campaign and how we implemented every campaign strategy that we had in place. We were able to do it because of the support and love that we attracted from the community.
In regards to me, it was an overwhelming experience, actually. This is my first time running for an office. I was in service before. I served in the United States Navy. I worked with the Department of Veterans Affairs, but this one was extremely different. Having 70% of my community over here supporting me from east to west, it felt like a heavy burden over my shoulder. But at the same time, it just gave me a hope that there is something that people see on us, regardless of who we are, what do we look like, what belief we have, and what gender association we affiliate with. So this just speaks the quality of the fact that people are really researching who they are looking for, that will represent them in the community. Now, in regards to the Muslim community, I wish I have something in there that would tell me how many Muslims have voted. But that is very, hard to come up with. I know in my district, there is a very large refugee communities, and that just tells me that there were quite a bit of votes. Now, I do wish, although we know that school board used to be, people did not even pay attention to it during the votes. However, since the pandemic, which has been a blessing in a way, we have been on the spotlight. And people have indeed paid attention to what we say, what we are looking into doing to benefit our students, teachers, and staff. And so all of these things are very important in regards to, and I hope that in the future, the Muslim community will be able to find ways that they can actually post their voices out there. When I say this, is like when I listen to school board meetings, I have not heard of any Muslim family or person calling and actually expressing their concerns. Let's say, for example, with COVID issue. Now, from my part in here, I can't wait until I find every resource available out there to help me get in touch and help me also connect with my brothers and sisters out there who are Muslims. Because also I understand since 2016, it has been hard path for Muslim communities. And of course, I understand that sometimes when those things happen, we like to stay behind the radars. And, we stay content with what we have. But I would like to say to our Muslims brothers and sisters, young, old, babies, even though they can't talk yet, but I want to say to everyone out there that, there is no better time actually to put yourself out there. Let your voice be heard. Get out of your comfort zone. Face the challenges. I say put your foot out there in the fire pit and feel the pain a little bit. But know in the long run, it's going to be absolutely, absolutely worth it. And so please, 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 you're going to see my name around. Reach out to me. I am here for you. I am here for your families. I am here for your aspirations. And I am here also for your your desire to have a better future and also live the American dream. So I hope that you will actually go ahead and go into the school board comes January 5th. That's when my information are going to be out there. Please reach out to me. And I'm so anxiously waiting to be there and help you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Really, really, really appreciate what you're stating right now. As we go out or go grow in a community, so does our institutions. And at this point, I do want to kind of relate that UMCL now has an affiliate organization, which is nonpartisan, but it is an advocacy group within UMCL. So we can tell you how many registered Muslim voters you now have in your district, how many of them voted or did not vote, but also take your word to them, bring them out
Yes,
around issues that the board is organizing,
yes,
bring them out to, probably do some surveys to say what are the issues that are affecting them. We do
yes.
know through a lot of national research that one in every fifth Muslim kid is bullied in our institutions, right? We do
Yeah,
want to look at our board policies. We do want to look at our curriculum because the research also shows that 9 out of 10 times the perpetrator is actually an administrator or a teacher, right?
yeah,
So how do we provide education to these administrators and teachers, and then, obviously students and their families? So we as UMCL and UMCA commit working with you, trying to find those exact issues that affect our community and find strategies to bring change, policy level changes in them. So let's keep
that is
growing together. And
fantastic.
I hear you. I hear you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Luna. I can't wait actually to get those information and have them with me so I can, get working on that for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So the next question is directed to Fatma. So, although your opponent, Representative Craig Hall, was reelected, you mentioned in a post that you look forward to working with him in the future. What would that look like, and what issues do you hope to work on together?
So first and foremost, I mean, I think it's important to mention that regardless of my opponent, like, he won. So it's important, like for me, I've always been an individual saying, how can I make my community a better place from where I left off? What are the issues? How does it impact me individually and also my family, my friends, and my community? So accountable government is really important. And so that means in order to understand what are the standards, you need to know why you need to hold them responsible. If they say they're going to do something, you need to follow through and say, how have you done that? What are you lacking, and how do I work with you to make sure that you're implementing this in a way that is effective to my community and it's understood in my community. For me, I think I want to see my opponent to come out in different Muslim events, engage with the community better, communicate with the community, build relationship, and become an ally to him. Because if we don't work together and we just do this work in silos, then nothing gets done. And we need to push forward policies and legislations that improve the lives of everyday people. And this is why I need to work with him. And this is why I need to work with many of the other candidates as well, or any new candidate that will be, stepping out there to say, I'm here to implement X, Y, and Z. I'm here to fix the inequalities and racism in our community. Is like, how are you going to do that? And what are you going to do? Are you going to listen to the people that are, affected by this issue? Are you going to bring us on board? Are you just going to make these facts and not implemented? And how are you going to hold them accountable? So, You need to be present. You need to speak up. As a woman of color, I am an American. I am a Muslim. I have all these identities that my opponent doesn't have and my opponent doesn't understand. So for him to listen to me and also listen to the community is what's going to make the policies that we want. Just because I didn't win, it doesn't mean I can't make change. I can't be a change maker. There are other ways that you can be a change maker. You just need to believe in yourself. You need to be present. If you're not present, then you can't really speak up. You can't say what's being done doesn't affect me, or it's not how I want it to be implemented. If you're not there, you have no room to speak. So be present, get involved, get educated, work with every leader that's out there, understand who your elected officials are, who are your, immediate representative in your specific district, have their numbers on board, call them, write them. If they don't write you back, contact, go pay a visit at their office. They have office hours. So do all these resources before, and then just sort of say, look, I'm here to work with you. Here's my contact information. Let's collaborate. Let's go out there and do the things that we want to make our community better, make our environment better, and work for equality and social justice. Let's change the landscape of what politics is today. Let's let it reflect the community. Let it be what we want to see in the near future for the young generation, like many of you guys out here today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, kind of on a similar note, the next question is for you, Mohamed. And we just want to ask you kind of the work that you imagine you'll be doing next year as a Salt Lake City school board member, and the issues you plan to work on, especially ones relevant to the Muslim community. Obviously, Luna mentioned bullying, for instance.
Okay. Well, hello, can you hear me?
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm Abed Al Sulaiman. I'm the Utah Muslim Civic League Community Organizing Fellow.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you. All right, so there are so many pressing issues, as we know, and one of them, of course, is with current situation of Salt Lake City Schools District with the closure and not opening, schools, and that has been like an issue that actually showed a division in the community. Parents who are desiring that the schools will be open and those who are not. Now, this is where I go back again to our Muslim community. I really wish I heard some information from them, because at this point, the only families that I hear from are most of them on the east side, east of State Street. And we need to have our communities as well to reach out, make your voice heard. So that's one of the issues we're going to be dealing with. And I know the current school board members and the future school board members, including myself, we have a lot of work to do. But the amazing thing that I have noticed thus far is that everyone has good intentions. Everyone just wanted their children to have a good education. And I know for sure that our marginalized communities, immigrant communities, Black and Brown communities are very, very affected during this period of time. There has been so many articles out there, so many journals that actually shows the effect of school closure on our communities, especially the marginalized immigrant Black and Brown communities. And we need actually to come up with an ultimate solution. And this is one thing that I can't wait until I get a chance to sit down and work with the interim superintendent and the new school board members. And here is the amazing thing. Again, my Muslim community, please reach out. This is the first time we will have a minority majority in school board in Salt Lake City. And so that speaks exactly the desire of every community, all the way from east to west. So that's one. The other thing too, I would like actually to be working on is equity, equity in terms of a pay for teachers, and also equity in terms of education. We should be able to build that bridge of confidence between the students who feel that they are not as smart as any others, or they feel like they are content with what they have, or they feel lack of confidence. But we would like them actually to understand that they are every bit as smart as anyone in a privileged communities. The reason I say so, because quite a bit of us, quite a bit of you have gone, pardon my language, through hell and came back. And so if you were to be challenged with school or so, that's going to be nothing really. But I would like to see something in there that actually taps in to those talents. We want that door to be open. And also the other thing too is the presence of police officers in high schools. Let me clarify something. I am not saying that I am against safety at schools. Absolutely not. Safety is very, very important. That period. We need to have that safety. Now, the reason I am saying that the presence of police officers at high schools, uh, it is very intimidating. Um, Here we have our brothers and sisters who came up from war zones, who fled uh, abuse and atrocity from the army and so, and they come here to this country for a safety. And if they walk into the school and they see a heavy armed police officer, that is actually a post-traumatic stress disorder generator. And if we want to have actually more safety at schools, I encourage actually the police and the safety department across Utah to actually hold town hall meetings, have actually a police officer, a chief of police, whoever it might be, those who are in charge, come in their civilian uniform, hold a town hall meeting, listen to the students out there. Let them know that they are a community. They are the ones who can take care of each other without the presence of a police officer at schools. And the other thing too that I've noticed, I mean, is that half of the salary of police officers is paid for by school. And we all know that our schools are, the funding of our schools is one of the top 3 worst in the nation. That is not right. We are not supposed to have that happening here in the state of Utah, where education is actually cherished. So you see, there are so many things over here again. One of them, as I said, is the COVID and the reopening of schools and the presence of a police in schools and equity in terms of education and pay for teachers.
Thank you, Mohammed, once again for bringing these, two very important issues out. I believe there is a set of town hall meetings coming up around SROs in the school.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
I'd love to connect you with the folks who are organizing it. I'm sure
Please, that would be
Fatima can
fantastic.
help, but I'd love to help as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I have the next question, and I just want to thank you both for your insight on all of the questions we're asking you. So yeah, again, this is for both of you. Having gone through the process of running for office, what advice do you have for any Muslims in our community? Any advice or encouragement for anyone in our community who wants to run for election in the future.
Ladies first or
Gentlemen
Mohammed
first.
first?
How about we switch the coin? We flip the coin. Go ahead, Mohammed. You got this.
All right. So I know it is intimidating. At times, it seems like it is a mountain that we cannot climb. But as a person who has gone through it, I promise you, it is actually a fun journey. It is actually at a time when you get to expose who you are, what you stand for, what's your belief, what are your values. People, as a matter of fact, do reach out and then they start to see the real example of American dream, which is that this country open its arms and its doors and its oceans to every single person from all over the world. And then when you come here, you are given those opportunities to stand and voice what you stand for. So go out there, run for an office. Do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid. You have the right to actually exercise that freedom of running for an office. The reason I'm saying so because when I ran, I actually did not expect that I will be, running this far. I was humbled again, and I've been very humbled by the support. You should have seen my village in Morocco. I mean, somehow I got into the national TV, and people were sitting in front of the TV like waiting for a soccer game. They are so proud that a son of their village is out there carry on and holding the traditions, holding the values, representing their village in the most powerful democratic country in the world. I mean, this is why I am telling you, remember, your parents, grandparents, and grandparents have paved the path for you so you can have a better life than they do. So now it is your turn that you pave the path for your children and children's children so that they can have a better life than what you do. It is your responsibility. It is my responsibility that I exercise that freedom, that right that I'm given in this country to help pave the path, build a solid foundation for our future of this country. And I have every trust and every trust, really, I believe in you that you're going to be able to do it. And please, if you feel like still intimidated, reach out to me. I'll make sure I change your mind. I'm very proud to be here. And thank you again.
Mohammed, I give
Wow.
you all these fellows to convince them to run, okay? I'm handing all these fellows
Absolutely.
to you, all right?
Just
All
put
the young
me just put me in the room with them with masks, 6 feet. I'll be delighted to.
and for absolutely wonderful Moroccan food.
Oh, I'll make sure we bring the Moroccan tea. We can bribe with the Moroccan couscous.
Absolutely. Each
Food
one
is
of
the
them.
key. Yes. I mean, I want to reiterate everything that Mohammed has echoed here. Believe in yourself. Put yourself out there. Put fear aside. Know that you're going to have the community support. You're going to be have an opportunity to tell your story and what's unique about you as an individual, and all the qualifications that you have matters. And the fact that you are putting yourself out there, you're being vulnerable, and you're really putting forth solutions that will work for our community. You're focusing on making changes because in order to, if reflect change or be a change maker, you need to take the step forward. You can't just wait and ask someone else to step up and be the leader. Like, don't worry about the qualifications. Don't worry about having the experiences, because oftentimes we're told you can't do it as a woman of color, or, as an individual from diverse background. We don't see ourselves in high places, in higher leadership roles. And so it's time that we forego that and we just say, what can we do as a community to lift one another and put each other, at a respect. I apologize for my phone call here. Two phone calls beeping at the same time. But I think it's really important to really evaluate everything that you have done in the past and everything that you're looking to do in the near future, and what is the in between. Now the time is essential. Use the time as your platform. Get involved in the community, gather people together, help show them the process of being a candidate. Why is it important that we voice our opinion, we vote? Like some of the things that I remember going out and canvassing as a candidate, most people didn't understand what a ballot, how to fill out their ballot. So as an individual, as a youth, you guys actually have an opportunity to, go out there and hold seminars and workshops, show people how to do it, model like how it's done. And then you put yourself out there and say, look, if I'm doing this as a youth, what else can I get my community to do? How do I get everyone involved by, having the experience? And then the other thing I like to encourage is like, be an intern, go volunteer, go and, shadow some of these elected officials, and everything that you guys are doing today, being a fellow for the Utah Muslim Civic League is going to open opportunities. You're going to have, given that we're in a pandemic year, you're not going to have opportunity to be able to travel to DC or, go to conferences, but those opportunities will come. You'll have opportunity to be presenters. You'll have opportunity to be panelists. And so how you go about those things matter. What you do today and what you're doing today is very effective. And so ask other youth to get involved. I think we're going to rely a lot on the younger generation going forward. We're not always going to be in these positions, like myself, Mohammed, Luna. We want to pass the baton to you. So when you're ready to step up and when you're ready to, work, whether it's with the city mayor, whether it's with the governor's office, or be the president of your university, ask us for your, for advice. Ask us to write you letter of recommendation. Ask us to come up and speak to the things that you're already doing in our community and how you're making an impact. Going back to why it's important, we need to get our community to vote. We saw such a low turnout from the Muslim community. I don't know the exact numbers. I think Luna knows, she can share all the data out there with everyone. But I think I was really disappointed. I don't necessarily want every Muslim that lives in the state of Utah to vote Democrat, because they have the choice. They can be unaffiliated voters, they can be Republican, they can be whatever, choice that reflects their values and their freedom and their purpose. But are they just letting that forgo? Are they going out there and listening to the issues? Do they know the candidates? Do they know that if they don't vote, they're ultimately, not giving us opportunities as individuals of color that are running for office for the first time? But also they're not capable of going out there and saying, look, you're not doing what's right for my community. You're doing this service. We're disenfranchised for a reason, is because we're not getting involved. We're not voting. And so our communities need to know it's very, very important that no matter what our opinion is, no matter what we think, a candidate is based off, or what the candidate isn't going to do for us, like, your vote matters. And this November, we saw really low turnout from our Muslim community. We need to prevent that. We need to go out there in the next 2 years. There's going to be another election in 2 years for school board members, for several other local races, that we need to encourage not only Muslims to run for office, but we also need to encourage Muslims to vote. We need to encourage people to, register to vote. We need to encourage people to be out there, go to rallies, advocate on things that matter. Right now, we're seeing a lot of issues around police brutality. We're seeing racism, and we're not willing to speak up, and we're not willing to, say, look, this is relevant to me. I go to grocery stores, I get stared at. How do I change that? I don't want that to continue to happen. How do I report harassments that are happening in my schools, bullying? Understand the system, and you can be a part of the system, but if you just stay silent, silent is not going to get anything done. So as individuals, I encourage you to work with the Utah Muslim Civic League, get other youth to get involved, get ourselves out there. Let's volunteer for the homeless shelter. Let's volunteer for the vets. Let's volunteer and just put ourselves out there, tell our stories every day, and people are going to listen, and that people are going to say, I believe we can motivate more people to get involved and more people to see us as powerhouse, as the power that we want to be for the future. So thank you.
Thank you again, Fatima. I do want to put in some perspective on the figures that you mentioned. So Salt Lake did vote at around 90% this cycle, and the Muslims vote from our sort of research is about between 50 and 52%. So you're right, our numbers for folks who voted was extremely low this time around, and we have work cut out for us to create pathways for us to vote more actively, and not just for president, but for our down ballot candidates. And and we are one of the most diverse religion in this country, so we can never have one way of thinking. We will never sort of do that, but the important part is that we do need to vote. However we think, however we feel strongly that we exercise that right and not let it go to waste. So the idea is not to turn everybody into one singular way of voting, but just getting them out to at least voice their opinion. So I absolutely hear you on that. I'm going to switch it back to Shema to take some questions from the audience and still keep you guys engaged with us.
And I know, Luna, we are going to, you guys are working on asking ourselves, why was the voter turnout so low from the Muslim community? What can we do? What are, opportunities for us to hold focus groups and meet with individuals in our communities and understand what held them back, and understand what, what's preventing them from voting, and how can we create pathway and opportunities for them to connect with us to, in the next cycle, we see a better turnout. Maybe we go from the 52% that you mentioned to 60%. Every year, the more we improve, the better, we get the numbers up and higher.
And our voter registration actually went up. So between 2016 and now, in Utah, went way up. And general voting in Muslim communities across the nation went up as well. But you also saw very clear divisions in the trends around voting as well. But so we have started working on it. One of the fellows is working on a series of conversations with different community sets. We are looking at, some of the data that already exists and some that we're looking to create to be able to give you guys these answers, to be able to, provide you more support next time around, so that we can, once again, tackle policy at a level that affects our community and bring that change in a substantive way. So we definitely, like I said in the beginning, as we grow as a community, so does our institution, and UMCL is a community institution.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen a tremendous, for us in my district, we predicted like an 88,500 turnout, and we surpassed that by 10,000 votes, and each one of us got at least 5,250. So I lost by less than 2% margin. So you can see that, the importance of voter turnout and new voters. And so it's possible, I think, remembering that we can get more people that don't really engage in this process to come forward. And obviously, like the idea is to not have that one-way thinking model that Luna has mentioned here. So thank you.
Shema, take it away with
Luna.
Question. Sure.
Luna, if I may just step away for a little bit and come back in, I have another Zoom call.
Okay, we do have one specific question from you from the audience that she's been
Okay,
waiting for. Maybe if you have to go, then maybe we email it to you and get an
that would be
answer.
great. Yeah, that would be great.
Aisha, we will email and get you the answer.
Sounds
Right?
great. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Mohammed, for being
Mohammed.
here.
Thank
We
you.
look
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow, that
Um,
means all the questions are going to be deferred to me. I'm going to defer to Luna. Cheyenne, go ahead.
so the audience question that Aisha asked, maybe Fatima, you have some insight on it. So the question is, it was to Mohammed, and he mentioned not having heard many Muslim voices, and you kind of alluded to this too, not having many Muslims vote. What plans do you have to increase the Muslim voices? This is the question specifically says Muslim families in the Salt Lake district, but maybe you have some insight on how we
Yeah.
can increase the Muslim voice.
I think it's important to understand the population represented in the Salt Lake City School District. Yes, it's one of the largest, the second largest school district that serves the highest minorities, Granite being the first, and then Salt Lake City School District being the second. A majority of the families who are Muslim who are going to these schools, they're new refugees. They've only been here less than 5 years. So for them, they're focused on survival skills. They don't have the time to attend school board meetings, or they don't even know that they can go, pink slip their students if they have an emergency, or they can come to ask the teacher why their student isn't getting homework. All these things are things that we need to prep and educate our families on. And so as students that understands the system, that have been here longer, I encourage Muslim communities that live outside of the Salt Lake City School District to become mentors to these families, volunteer, create opportunity where they know that they have a voice, that if their kid is being bullied, or if their kid is being, I remember advising on cases that, for students that were being sent to peer court just for, having truancy, or just for, misbehaving in class. And they didn't know that they have a right to say, look, I didn't just misbehave, but some kid was pulling my hijab, and I was being, people were writing mean notes to me. And so these navigation system is what many of our families are focused on. A lot of the refugee families, new Americans, they're focused on survival skills. They're focused on making, their kids, they can't support their kids because they're not educated. Their kid is the first generation graduate. And so I try to work with, there's school district liaisons. I know Salt Lake City School District is currently working on hiring a liaison that will work with these families, that will conduct home visits. If families have to go to court because of a truancy issue or behavior or mental health, that they have somebody in the community that can mentor them, that can guide them, that can provide them the access and resources that they need, whether it's social, behavior health, or is systemic, or is specific to welfare. Everything that they need to know that there are resources and tools that are already available in the district, and they can also come in and create a space in the school. Something that I've seen at Glendale School District and Mountain View is that parents every week, they come together and have a meeting and check in with these families when they're picking up their kids. They say, what do you need? Does your kid have support at home with homework help? Does your kid have proper clothing or proper access to food? Do you need something else? So I would encourage, maybe this is something that Utah Muslim Civic League fellows and youth can go out and look at these specific schools and speak to the parents and speak to the teachers and see what programs or opportunities are being provided within each school. I know that elementary school districts struggle a lot with the bullying emphasis, and also with parents not knowing that they can sign their kids up for after school program or opportunities for field trips. So all of these things are possible, but I think the most important thing is we can wait on the going to community council and or school board meetings to present issues, but first we need to create paths and make sure that we have a plan forward. We say, look, if an issue occurs at this level, we don't only jump straight to the principal, we don't always go directly to the teacher, but this is what we do first. We have a community that already understand this issue, that has the trust with the family, that we reach out with that individual, and then we take the issue to the school, administration, and so forward. So again, now we have an opportunity. We have an individual that's actually from our community that we can just contact and say, Mohammed, look, there's a family dealing with this specific concern. What can you do? Can you go to the meeting with them? Can they rely on you to solve this issue? So use that. I'm sure we'll provide you the contact information and email from Mohammed, and we'll have opportunity to hear more of our Muslims telling their issues or their concerns related to disenfranchisement and community resources.
Thank you, Fatima. And I
Of course.
wish when you made an ask of UMCL to mentor or talk to this liaison, that you would also mention our mentor program that you just spoke to.
Of course, yes. So like the mentor program that I actually had an opportunity, was it last week or the week before, to meet with, maybe 2 weeks ago, I'm forgetting my dates here. But I met with several, all the fellows and university students of Utah Muslim Civic League, the youth program that's created to peer mentor the younger kids that are in elementary and middle school. And these are the ways that we're going to know and understand. And again, these individuals are coming from all over the states, all over the districts. They're not going to just Salt Lake City School District or, Granite School District. There's some that go to charter schools. They go to American Preparatory. So all of these people, you guys are bringing them together. And now is the time for us to say, we've heard their stories, we've heard their issues. What do we do as mentors? And how do we go out there and speak to these issues and have a plan in place for these schools to follow? And so I know that you guys have a lot of amazing things that you're planning to do. So we're here to support you. Just let us know to make it, possible. And again, the resources and the connections are all there. We just need to encourage every individuals in our community, parents, children, to speak up and say, look, if you have, if you see something, say something. That's the model we need to utilize here.
Absolutely. 100%. And thank you for mentioning that.
Of course.
So I think we have time to ask just one more audience question. Solar sent in 2 questions, but I'll just ask the first one because I'm also really interested to know this. But Fatima, do you plan on running for office again? And how can I personally be on your team?
If I don't run away from the US, just kidding. Honestly, I don't know where I'll be in 2 years, inshallah, if I'm still in the state of Utah and I'm in the, whether it be in West Valley or whatever area that I'm in. I know that I will continue to advocate and speak to social justice and human rights issues. That's dear to my heart. And so any issues that is being experienced, whether it's from our Muslim community, whether it's from, the PAC community, people of color, regardless what community it is, I'm out here to serve and make sure that our community has a voice and they have access to resources and they can hold all these entities accountable and responsible for what they're going to do for our community to make sure that we are considered important and that we have an opportunity to serve in different leadership roles. I don't want to just be out here and say I'm an elected official and now all of a sudden I have fulfilled my role. Is like, what else can I do? How can I improve every day? Because every day you're going to grow. You're going to utilize yourself to lift other people, to unite people together. Unity is really important to me. So for me, it's not just being an elected official. Whether will I run for office? Yes, I'm happy to run again. But for the one thing I always ask is like, who are we forgetting out there? Who are we not bringing to the table? And so we'll see where I'm at in 2 years, inshallah. And then obviously I would love to have you serve and work with me once again. I had an awesome opportunity to have you as part of my, small team. and anyone else that's interested or in finding ways to get involved in Salt Lake City government or West Valley, whatever area you're in, I have the resources and I'm happy to share them and work with each one of you guys to fulfill your dreams and your goals of, being part of this community. So thank you for asking that.
Was that our last question then?
Yes, it was. And thank you so much for being here and for all your answers.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. You're an incredible facilitator. And as all of you guys continue doing the work that you're doing, and please, please, please always feel free to reach out and connect with us.
Absolutely, Fatima. You're always inspirational. And I think your run itself, the way you conducted it, the way you handled the beginning and the end, all of us appreciate it. And we will remain your supporters. And I know that you bring in resources to all of us. So I will keep telling everyone to make an outreach to you. Thank you. Omar, thank you so much for making this seamless for us. Shema, thank you for putting this all together. Sahar, Abid, everyone for joining. I so appreciate all of your time this evening. Take care. Be well. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.